Virginia, 1887. They called it Ash Hollow because the air always smelled faintly of burnt things, wood, flesh, history. The townsfolk said it was the old coal mines under the hill, still venting their last gasps decades after being shut. But there was something else. Something the soil whispered when the wind was just right. Something that never quite died. Jeremiah Finch wasn't a man of fear. Not in the biblical sense, not in the worldly one. A surveyor by trade, he had charted the mountains west of Roanoke and survived 3 winters near the Blue Ridge with nothing but his compass, his rifle, and his books. But Ash Hollow would take more from him than frostbite or fever. It would take the very shape of his mind. He came on horseback, drawn by a letter, yellowed paper, ink faded by age, signed by a man long dead. A cousin he never knew he had, Elijah Thorne, heir to the old Thorne estate. "The land has secrets," the letter read, "and you, blood of mine, must help me keep them buried." The estate stood like a skeleton in the fog, 3 stories of rotting wood, vines clinging like dead hands, windows like black eyes. The townsfolk in nearby Belfield refused to guide him the last 2 miles, muttering about the hollow and its curse. He went alone. Of course he did. Inside, Elijah waited, though not as Jeremiah expected. The man had gone thin, translucent with sleeplessness. He moved like someone whose soul no longer fit his body. "They're waking," he whispered that first night over whiskey. The tunnels weren't abandoned. They were sealed. Jeremiah chalked it up to isolation. The estate reeked of mold and secrets, and Elijah seemed a prisoner of both. But the house wasn't empty. Doors opened on their own. Footsteps echoed at night. Once, Jeremiah woke to find muddy prints in the hallway. Small. Barefoot. He found a journal beneath a loose floorboard in the study. Not Elijah's. Older. Leather-bound, stained with something that had gone black. Dated 1851. Written by a Reverend Josiah Harrow, who once ran a chapel where the mines now lay. The entries began in prayer, then degraded into rants. "The ash is not from coal," one line read. "It is from the purging of what lies beneath." Jeremiah tried to leave on the 5th day. The woods didn't let him. He rode for Belfield at dawn. By dusk, he was back where he started. No matter the path, he ended at the estate. Once, the trees closed behind him like gates. The compass spun in wild circles, defiant of north. The hollow was alive. Elijah deteriorated. His words no longer formed sentences. He wandered at night, scratching symbols into the walls. One morning, Jeremiah found him in the cellar, kneeling in cold dust, muttering a name over and over. "Naloth. Naloth." The cellar led to a tunnel. Jeremiah didn't want to descend. He had read enough Poe and Hawthorne to know better. But Elijah disappeared on the 7th night, and Jeremiah followed. The tunnel breathed. The air was wrong, thick, wet, and alive with whispers that didn't echo. Carvings lined the walls, twisted figures, eyeless faces, spirals and runes older than language. His lantern flickered with each step, as though the darkness swallowed flame faster here. He found Elijah near the old mine shaft, lying in a circle of ash. His chest moved, but barely. Scrawled beside him were final words. "Do not open it." But the shaft was open. The boards had been pried away. And something moved beneath. Not fast, not loud, just the slow, grinding sound of something impossibly old turning in its sleep. Jeremiah dragged Elijah out. He sealed the tunnel. He burned the journal. He stayed. And Ash Hollow stayed with him. Years passed. The town of Belfield forgot. The estate rotted. Jeremiah wrote to no one, spoke to no one. But every night, he watched the tree lean. And every night the trees seemed closer. They found his body in 1901. Sitting upright in the study, eyes gone, but no sign of violence. Just a strange mark on the floor beneath his chair, an unbroken spiral, etched deep into the wood, still warm to the touch. No one stayed in Ash Hollow after that. The land was sold, but no buyer claimed it. Surveyors got lost. Hikers vanished. Locals said the fog there never lifted, even at noon. Some nights, if you walk close enough, you'll hear digging. And if you're very quiet, you might hear your name.
Subscribe, leave a like, and await the next tale. Thank you for watching. But beware, some stories never truly end.